it has become in the past 2 days on the show abundantly clear. And you've broached it. I feel like you've gone to the edge of the cliff, but not said it. It's become abundantly clear to me that you do not think that this Vikings defense is going to get back to its status of 2 years ago.
I don't think so.
But I mean, you've talked about it needs to, and it's really clear now to me that you don't think that that's going to happen.
The only way it can is
which, by the way, is pretty much a death knell. I feel like you're saying, they might be pretty good, but they ain't going to be that good.
The only way that defense can get back to that form is if Mike Zimmer really shakes things up and he has some sort of ace up his sleeve that we haven't seen when it comes to scheming and calling plays for a defense. Because I don't see a lot of room for improvement from within on that defense. Do you see a lot of guys on that side of the ball who are still so young where you go, that guy's still, he hasn't reached his ceiling yet.
Weatherly took another step last year, and I could see that. And I could
Danielle Hunter.
And I could see between Hunter,
Danielle Hunter's a freak
Weatherly,
already. I don't know how much more improvement you can.
I could see those guys.
He's only 24.
I could see those two guys though making Griffin's success not as important. I think we're too hyper focused on Griffin and him bouncing back, which he might not do. But I think your defensive ends are still pretty good. This also goes back to what we discussed yesterday, which is how are you going to use Barr? Zimmer's a smart guy. He's going to come up with different ideas for Barr, and that's going to be incredibly important. So I do see some components of this defense that certainly have the ability to improve, and I think we might be too fixated on a few of the ones that aren't going to or don't. But I can just tell from your tone the past 2 days, you ain't buying what I'm selling.
I don't. I mean, you lost Sheldon Richardson and did not replace him. Everson Griffin is 30, and we already saw a drop-off in his production.
But keep in mind, Sheldon was not part of that defense 2 years ago. He just came in for 1 year, and they didn't make the playoffs.
And they still took a step back.
Yeah.
He came in and improved the position, and you still took a step back. Now you lost him. Everson Griffin isn't getting younger, and we saw a drop-off in his production last year. Xavier Rhodes isn't getting younger. We saw a drop-off in his production next year. And, yeah, there might be a slight room for slight improvement with some of these guys that you're talking about, but Danielle Hunter is already a top 5 pass rusher in this league, you could argue. How much better do you really think
it's
he's
Weatherly, I think, who ultimately probably replaces Griffin, and he actually replaces Hunter because I could see Hunter going
over
from left to right end, Griffin not playing as much, Weatherly then playing left end. But you might be right here, but I'm not guaranteeing it.
But I think to me, I think this defense is going to be good. Are they going to be as good as they were in 2017? I mean, they were pretty much number one statistically across the board in 2017. So I don't know if I don't think we see that repeat in any defense in the NFL, even the great ones over time. To me, the biggest key for this team is going to be what they do offensively, is the improvements that they make offensively, because the defense can still be good in 2019. And if the offense doesn't show any improvement at all from last year, because that was the real weak spot of this team. If the offense doesn't show any improvement, then it's not going to matter how good the defense is.
Don't forget that the defense through the first quarter of the season didn't help you. And that was a big deal. And statistically, that hurt them through game 16. But with what's being said here, Ramie, I'm hearing you basically, you don't think, in my opinion, from what you're saying, that either side of that ball is going to prop them up enough to be really good.
I think the offense can be slightly improved, but not enough.
But that's not going to save them.
Not enough to make up for the drop-off in the defense that we've seen since 2017. That I think will continue this year. I'm not saying they'll be a bad defense. They'll be a top 10 defense, but you need them to be top 5 if you're gonna be in the Super Bowl discussion. Because the offense isn't making up enough ground for this team to be a Super Bowl contender without a top 5 defense. When they added Kirk Cousins, to what they thought was already a Super Bowl caliber defense. And the defense took a step back, and I don't think Cousins in the offense can do enough to compensate for that. I just don't.
I still think this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. But again, it's just they need the offense to be better, like significantly better than what it was in 2018. Like I think that they can survive if they're the 7th best defense in the NFL in 2019, that's fine to me. Because to me, I'm looking at the quarterback, the offensive line, more weapons for the quarterback, That's where I'm looking at as far as the huge improvement. That's what needs to
Huge improvement's
greatly
not going
improve.
to huge improvement, though.
And I
it's
don't
not,
think that that's very likely.
huge improvement's not coming. And the fact is that if Ramie's right, this team sunk because this team's built on defense.
Mhm.
That keep in mind when they got Cousins, it was to take a tick up offensively. It was never to be outstanding. If Ramie's right, they're done. Like they're just done. They can't possibly, as Collar keeps talking about, they can't make up those points offensively. This offense is supposed to be good. It was never supposed to be great. The offensive line was a disaster that they have just now decided to acknowledge. Like a little kid who finally cleans his or her room and it might be too damn late.
And you know what?
So this is not about taking a step up offensively and being really good. And if Ramie's prediction is right about this defense, then the whole thing's just going to collapse onto itself.
And the problem, and the problem, they painted themselves into this corner because they decided to bring Anthony Barr back. They decided to pay him a lot of money,
right?
And they need him to be worth every penny.
But they're saying he's wrong.
Sure.
The Vikings are saying Ramie 100% is wrong,
and I have been many times before.
But that's what they're banking on. That they are saying that people who are saying what Ramie say are full of it. They don't know what they're talking about, and that this defense is going to be outstanding. And if it's not there, it's not going to work.
No,
because of the Cousins expense, we lose sight of the expectation. That offense is supposed to be competent, nothing more.
Right.
It's not supposed to be great.
Right. You're supposed to see slightly better than what you saw from Case Keenum in
Correct.
2017.
Absolutely.